Are powerful. When I was coming up, Dwayne Wayne and Steve Urkel represented the black male intellectual. Both were brilliant, but only one of them was considered cool. A Different World first came on in 1987, the year that I was born, and Family Matters followed in 1989. Dwayne was a character that I and other young black men could admire. Dwayne was proud and smart, and he attended an HBCU. He eventually married the woman of his dreams. Now, Steve Urkel was a different story. Steve was absolutely brilliant, but who wanted to be like Steve? Steve was clumsy, had big thick glasses, high water pants with suspenders, and that high-pitched voice. Because of that, Steve wasn't getting no play from Laura. This man had to transform into Stefan to get her to like him. This may not seem like a big deal, but A Different World stopped making new episodes in 1993. So all we were left with was Steve. It is my belief that this helped to program young black men to not want to be anything like Steve. My generation looked up to athletes and rappers. They were the cool guys pulling all the women. The girls in my generation liked that type of male. Remember, images are powerful. It became lame to be seen as a smart guy, and that caused a lot of my peers to change how they acted. Psychological warfare is that simple. Showcase the characteristics that you want the population to emulate and ridicule the traits that you want less of. It is imperative that we realize how something as small as a TV show can influence an entire generation for years to come.
Hey, yo, black men, what's happening, man? Peace. Tell me what's goody. Let me get a swig of water before I kill this one. Now, I'm calling this video The Assassination of the Black Male Intellect. And see, in that video, man, that was powerful, right? Now, I was born in 1999. So, A Different World, growing up, I've heard older men and just older people in general talk about that show. But again, by the time I was born, it wasn't even aired on TV. Now, Family Matters in the early 2000s, I do remember watching that show growing up. And again, as a young man around that time, I'm like, in my childhood phase. So watching Family Matters, even as a young man, again, at the ages between like 5 and 10, watching Family Matters, even I kind of understood on a subconscious level, right, that Steve Urkel wasn't the stereotypical definition of cool. Now, again, in the black community, cool is defined as degeneracy. Now, when you look at Steve Urkel again, like the man said in the video, he had high water pants, suspenders, big thick glasses. Man, listen, Steve Urkel's voice. Oh, did I do that? If I'm even saying it right. But it's like that is drilled in my head because I remember it growing up. But like you said, man, Steve was brilliant. And he was. And I remember those episodes where he transformed into Stefan. And I'm like, man, back then I didn't really understand it. I kind of looked at it as like, maybe he just grew up, right? But I didn't realize that was the transformation. Now, something as black men that we all understand, and if you don't understand it, let me break it down for you, right? As a group, we cannot rise above the women. And because we live in America that promotes degeneracy, because we live in America where the little hats and the white man, they try to dictate, what black men should be. First of all, we understand that in America, white people have done everything possible to keep black people disproportionately at the bottom. And again, in a capitalistic society, someone has to be at the bottom and someone has to be at the top. And then everybody in the middle, they bought into white supremacy. They feel like, okay, because the white man is going to treat you just slightly better, just slightly better than black people, they side with white supremacy, even though they get none of the benefits and perks of white supremacy. But they feel like, okay, white supremacy, yeah, fist pump, yeah, white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So as black people, right, we pretty much just roll with the punches, man. You knock us down, we find a way to build ourselves back up. You knock us down again, we find a way to build ourselves back up again. But see, when it comes to psychological warfare, and if you guys watch my content, I talked about this, man. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot who made the quote. It might have been Hitler, but what he said was, once the masses grow in numbers, you can no longer use physical domination to control them. You have to switch over to psychological warfare. And again, images, like the man said, images are what dictate the people. Well, television actually, but in America, you use those same images, put them on TV, put them on movie screens, and now this is how you control the people. Again, we took the shackles off your hands and feet, and now we put them around your mind. So, like I said, going back to what I said about you cannot rise above the women of the group, the women control the reproductive system. So if black women get to dictate which men carry on their lineage, right? So now they can tell you, oh, you look lame. Oh, you're not masculine enough. Oh, you're corny. Oh, you're a goofball. You know what I'm saying? So now they can dictate which men get to have, forget the lineage part, which men get to have access to sex through your image and through your behavior. Again, hence why Steve Urkel became Stefan. Now, I never watched A Different World, so I can't even speak about that show. But based upon the images from that video, again, Dwayne was supposed to be like the cool nerd. Yeah, he was smart, but he had some type of aesthetic to himself that made him cool amongst the women, which, it gave him a pass. But again, Steve Urkel, now you could say, yeah, he was a young man, and when he was Stefan, he was a little bit older. But again, it on a psychological level as a young boy, right? Because again, we all understand this, right? When you're in about, let's say around middle school, because that's when you really get into like girls, you hit about 11, 12, 13 years old. So now you're looking around, right? When you look at it, when you look in the classroom, there's usually maybe 1 to 2 boys in the classroom who's getting pretty much, if not all of the attention, at least 75 to 85% of the attention from all the girls in the classroom, because these guys behave a certain way. Now, you could say looks play a part into it, yes, of course. But when you're in middle school, man, it's kind of more about the behavior. I'm not saying looks don't play a part, but you get to see that certain guys, man, the Tyrone types. I talked about it before. Listen, man, when I was in the 8th grade, I remember there was a Tyrone in my classroom getting head in the back of my history class. I'm thinking to myself, wait, why is she sucking dick in the back of the classroom? And we're in the 8th grade. So what? We're like at least 12, 13. No, we're like 13 going on 14. But again, that particular guy was a Tyrone. Tyrone in behavior, Tyrone in the image. You know what I'm saying? So he was this thuggo type of dude in the 8th grade. So, that character image, man, to assassinate the black man, again, the black male intellect. If you're a black man who's actually intellectual, man, you're automatically seen as lame. You're automatically seen as a cornball. You're written off and casted off, bro. Forget your looks. It's your behavior. Again, we all know, these ugly type of dudes, man, who are just these overly aggressive, rough around the edges type of guy. But again, they even showed images of Tupac. Tupac went to like a fine art school trying to become an actor. Well, as you see, he became a good one at that. But even Tupac changed who he was in order to fit an image, and that whole character change became his personality. And that's what black women fell in love with, because even Jada Pinkett said when she first met Tupac, Tupac wasn't the kind of guy she was into. But again, Tupac made that switch. And as a man, I believe once you get to that point where you make that mental switch, you're already kind of defeated, because as a man, you got to ask yourself, man, is it really worth changing who you are and how you behave just for sex, just for access to women? And now I get it. Like I said, as a black man, I fully understand why. Again, if you never grew up in Section 8, NYCHA, row houses, duplexes, man, these Afghanistan neighborhoods and stuff like that. It's like World War II in your neighborhood, bro. If you never grew up in that, those guys that behave like that, that's the genetic stock of Tyrone. Tyrone's grew up in that environment. Black women, they left the black man in the 60s to take the white man's crumbs to go live in Section 8 neighborhoods to go get a guaranteed check of what, $500, welfare and EBT, just to get rid of the black man. It kind of always goes to show you, black women, they were always against black men. But again, this character assassination, again, in the 90s, that's where pretty much everything took off, bro. Again, well, you could say the 80s or you could say the 70s, but I think the 90s is where rap music came into place. Now, it's so funny how the Little Hats, right? There was a video, I forgot which specific guy was in that video, but he mentioned how, listen, that they use the rap music because rap music is tied to the prison industrial complex. And again, who supports that? The Little Hats and the Jewish record labels. Well, I'm sorry, well, the Little Hats are the Jews, but they support that because they're invested into the prison industrial complex. So they have money on both ends into the prisons and into rap music. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the majority of the prisons in the country, in the United States, right, are privately owned. So in order to have a private prison that's funded by the U.S. government, you have to be able to guarantee occupancy, right? So which means every bed in the prison is full. Most prisons are full of who? Black men, Latino men. Of course, there's white men in there as well, but it's just black and brown men. So again, the prisons are funded by the government, and of course, the Jews invest their money into these prisons, but they also invest money into rap music. And again, it's pushed onto the black people, man. Personally, black men who want to rap, I don't trust them because I understand that you want to fund that prison industrial complex. Again, the whole I forgot the rappers, well, the rap groups, but the conscious rap groups and rap persons of the past, that's done, bro. In 2025, you cannot come out here trying to make conscious rap music. Now you can talk about guys like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Maybe so, but even look how these guys are beefing with Drake and they're talking about this and talking about that. Man, listen, as a person who really wants to come out here and make conscious rap music, you want to talk about, helping the community, building up our people, creating establishments for our people, jobs for our people, communities for our people, because those Section 8 neighborhoods, listen, that's not the black community, bro. These ghetto-ass environments, dangerous-ass environments where you find high concentrations of black women, because again, most black women grow up in the hood. Honestly, bro. You might have a small number that grow up in the suburbs, but most black women grow up in the hood because, again, byproducts of Tyrones. This is why any black woman, which is the majority of them, are messing with Tyrones. This is why you guys don't need to mess with them because, again, they hyperfixate on genetics because they want you to go out here and go play football, go play basketball, become a rapper or something like that, man. These short-term career goals. But again, a man like Steve Urkel, who's going to college and he becomes a doctor, he becomes a lawyer, he becomes an engineer, he becomes a aircraft mechanic, he becomes a truck driver, it's funny how they just want to really assassinate the black community or the black male image of being an intellect. And what people don't realize is, what black women don't realize is intelligence is the dominant gene. But when you're still breeding black men for this slave auction, aka prison, right? Because that's the new plantation, aka prison. You're worried about a man being tall. How the fuck does a man being tall in a modernized world, how does that benefit our group? Worrying about if a man has a 12-inch, Worrying about if a man has dreadlocks, tattoos on his face, tattoos on his neck and on his hands. You know, how does a man being a criminal? Because I've had black women admit to me straight to my face, I love a hood ninja. I love a man that's gonna, make my life feel like I'm in danger. I love a man that's gonna pull out his pistol and put it to my head and make a threat to me. Black women have told me this to my face. So we already know. Listen, I mentioned before, you have bottom level Tyrone and top level Tyrone. Bottom level Tyrone are the guys, again, 6 feet, beard, and whatever other characteristics you want to throw in there. Oh, he has Max Johnson pause. You know what I'm saying? But top level Tyrone are the guys who have the behavior. Again, image along with the behavior. So all black women are really doing are destroying the black community. And that's why I said in 2050, that's why I said in 2050, the black race in America will be done. It's gonna be ashes, bro. And again, the 90s, where they support this whole prison industrial complex, that was pushed like the heaviest, bro. So again, rap music, they already know that because black women are gonna pick these thugs. And again, I think rap music, or not think, but rap music took off for real in the 90s, because I believe in the 80s, even Will Smith was rapping in the 80s and he won that Grammy. Will Smith made a rap song or rap music in general where he never cursed. When the 90s came along, these guys were talking about all types of degenerate stuff and, just the robbing, killing, stealing, drugs, and all that nonsense, right? Even the whole Jay-Z, I sold crack to my neighborhood, and then, he's this big rap star. It's just crazy, right? But they already know young black men are gonna hit the streets trying to recreate what these rappers are talking about. And all that's gonna do is make it easier for the police department to come and arrest you, send your ass to prison. And again, who's getting paid? The white man and the little hats. So ultimately, as in the words of black women, the real black men are in prison. Okay, cool. Cool. If that's how you feel, cool. So the black community or the black race, we're going to be at the bottom forever, because we're never going to get to the top, in America at least, right? We're disproportionately, deprived and remaining in poverty, because you have the women who control the reproductive system. Guys like Steve Urkel, guys like myself, listen, I already know I'm not going to have black children. It's not going to be possible. Black women don't even check for me. I already know that, listen, the black race is going to be done, bro. But see, the assassination of intelligence, man, even back in school, I'm like, when you look back on it, really think back on like college and high school, man, you just see these guys in the fraternities and the sports players, man, they get all the love from black women, all the love. Like I said, man, you cannot rise above the women because they control the reproductive system. If you're a black man and you're not a criminal, you're not a degenerate, you're not a loser or a bum trying to be a rapper or something like that. If you had your first kid at 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, again, the amount of black men who are having their first kid after 30, it does not outweigh the amount of black children being born by young black women between the ages of 16 and 24. Because again, the guys who are getting these females pregnant between those ages are the Tyrones, the Pookies, man. Oh, I was young and dumb. Shut up. Shut up. The assassination of black male intelligence, man. That's why when you talk to most black men, you have to just accept the fact that most of these guys, and that's why I mentioned before, most black people are not bad people. It's the fact that the black people, instead of casting out the trash, throwing them away, these, again, guys like Big Meech, guys like anybody who just falls under that archetype. I don't care to name them too much. But again, these Tyrones, the Pookies, they go to prison and they get hand claps. These guys come home and they get hand claps. As a black man, listen, growing up, I bet you guys know so many guys. Listen, personally, I know so many guys who are in these gangs, and these guys go in and out of jail, in and out of prison all the time. And these guys have the most attractive black women. When these guys come home from a prison bed, listen, black women are talking about, oh my God, yes, he's home. He's home. You know what I'm saying? They're going crazy. They're having babies by these guys. And these guys are going right back to prison. And I'm like, man, it, it makes you upset because it's like, yo, you're overlooking me for a guy who's constantly going to prison. He's a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to be around men. He doesn't have no opportunities. He has a tattoo on his face, man. When a guy puts a tattoo on his face, that's the sign that, man, he's defeated. All he can do is just rap. You cannot rap your way out the hood. The statistics of becoming a rapper are even lower, if not on the same level as becoming an athlete. Again, and not to mention with the whole rap thing, again, image. You cannot become a rapper if you're talking about conscious, or if you're making conscious music, man. You cannot talk about trying to better the people. No, you have to rap about drugs, killing, smashing other guys, women, drugs, violence, the whole package, dude. Because that's what's being promoted through the little hats, man, the Jews. And it's just funny because again, these rappers, man, I talked about before dreadlocks, right? The main reason why guys get dreadlocks is for sex. I think I made that video somewhere on my channel, if not this one, my old one. But yeah, the main reason why most black men get dreadlocks are for sex. And when you really think about the concept behind that, that shit is pathetic, but it's probably no different than what guys did in the 90s, man. I guess in the 90s, like I said, maybe braids were more accepted in the 90s. Not saying that guys didn't have locks, but again, the image of the rapper, the rapper was put in front of the athlete, because most athletes are actually I'm not gonna say squares. No, I'm not gonna say squares, because a lot of athletes actually come from the hood, these impoverished environments. Because again, that's the only way he was gonna make it out the hood, is by dribbling a damn basketball or throwing touchdowns or catching touchdowns or running guys over. But like I said, man, the image. You cannot become a rapper without the image. One thing about most rappers, at least current day rappers, right? These guys are covered in tattoos, dreadlocks, and it's the whole image thing. Again, you have to sell that image. When you meet most black men now, 2025, these guys all have an image. That's why I say Tyrone. Tyrone fits a certain image. On top of the physical stats, the image, man. This is why, as a collective, the race is just done for, man. In America, at least, right? That's why when the government gave black women the ability to go out and go work, all it did was really destroy the community, because now that's why black women always say, I'm strong and independent. But you're independent from who? The average black man, the non-select black man, because these black men were the black men who actually were able to, move the community forward. These Tyrones, these Pookies, I believe they always existed, not in high numbers, but these guys, or AKA the Buck, right? The Buck wasn't the reason why the black community moved forward. He was only on, listen, that's why I mentioned in one of my videos, as the non-select black man, what were you doing on the plantation? For you, it was hell. For the Buck, it was fun. For black women, it was fun, because the black woman, she's getting fucked by the Buck having his child, and then getting smashed by the slave master and having his child. And you, as a non-select black man, you have to install your knowledge, your wisdom into that light-skinned young man or light-skinned young woman, and Tyrone's son as well. The whole Uncle Tom, you think Uncle Tom was the Buck? No, no. That's why black men, listen, the whole Reconstruction period, man, black men, the non-select black men, the average black men are the ones who built those towns and built those districts and built those communities that these same crackers went and destroyed. The buck, he didn't care. That's what I'm saying. The fact that black women, they hyperfixate on the on such primitive stuff, dude, and we're living in a modernized world. That's why our community and our race will always be at the bottom because, again, we cannot rise above the women. I'm strong and independent from who? Black intelligence. The typical Tyrone, I'm going to call it what it is. The typical Tyrone is stupid. Am I saying that, oh, because a man is 6 foot tall and he has a beard, he doesn't know what 2 plus 2 is, he doesn't know what 4 plus 4 is, he doesn't know what 12 times 8 is, he can't follow simple commands and instructions? Shit, some of them can't. Some of them can't, man. They're just hardwired to go against authority. They're hardwired to go against discipline, structure. It's just ingrained in them. So am I saying it's all of them? No, but I think it's most of them. Most Tyrones are destructive. Most Tyrones, they are a harm to themselves. Outside of their initial purpose of just breeding, these guys don't really serve much purpose. But again, the non-select black man, as a black man, I'm telling you, I'm speaking from this perspective of a man who's 5'10", average looks. I can see this crap, man. And see, I'm so glad as a young man, I never chose to conform. At one point in my life, I wanted to conform. Conform to what? The image. The image. Listen, at one point, I wanted dreadlocks. Again, now me being first generation Caribbean, listen, I have a different outlook on dreadlocks, man. To me, if I was to ever get dreadlocks, I'm becoming a real roster. No, and no diss to you African American brothers, man, because again, it's not all of you guys, but it is a large portion. And let me say this part too. For the real Tyrones, for the real Pookies, you have the other black men who look at those guys and see, well, listen, he's having all the success. Black women love him. So maybe I should do it. Again, it's just natural, especially as a young man when you're in middle school and high school. You're going to do what you see the quote unquote popular guys do, the cool guys do in order to have his success. So you're going to get tattoos. You're going to get dreadlocks. You're going to hit the streets as well. You're going to do all this other nonsense because, man, I want girls too. I mean, again, as a man, you're just naturally attracted to women. I want to have a family too. So again, you're going to do what you have to do in order to get access to women, access to sex, and the opportunity to pass on your lineage. But like I said, black women, they dictate which men get to have those luxuries because they dictate who gets it based upon your image and based upon the behavior. So you have to be a real buck Negro in order to have that. So when you don't conform to that image, you're written off. That's why you see black men out here in high numbers dating white women, Latinas, Arabs, Indians, Asian women. Because, man, listen, I have to conform. If you conform, black man, you're going to prison. Listen, going to prison as a non-select black man, think about this, dude. Listen, if you know real Tyrones and Pookies, these guys are in prison on the phone with black women, and black women are writing these guys letters. These guys are receiving money, cash apps, JPay load ups and stuff, man. As a non-select average black man, and you do the same thing, and you end up in prison, yo, it's gonna be hell on earth for you. Because no black woman is checking for you. It wasn't checking for you on the street. You think it's gonna make a difference because you're in prison now? No, you're not the buck. You're not Tyrone. That's why, man. Listen, as a black man, listen, bro. You have to make the distinction early and separate yourself. As hard as it may be, and again, I understand. As a black man, my first option is a black woman, but you have to destroy yourself in order to get black women. It's not worth it. If you catch that bullet, you go to prison, your life is done. So black man, I'm making this video because, man, I care. I care about the black image, man. The black man from the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, and 50s. That's the real black man. I want to curse so bad, but I'm trying to stay away from that, man. These Tyrones, these Pookies, man, all because he's 6 feet. Oh, he has a Maximum Johnson. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, he has dreadlocks. Oh, he's a criminal. He's a hood nigga. Man, shut up. Shut the fuck up. That's why our community is in fucking shambles now, because you stupid ass bitches get to control who has access to reproduction. I have to let that shit out, because I'm telling you, man, this is why, personally, as a black man, man, I want to leave America. I'm not trying to live in hell no more, man. This is just agony and misery over and over, because as a black man, especially a young one, man, when you wake up and look at this, man, and you actually understand, this is why I said in my one video, you have, I would say 60% of black men who are dumb, deaf, and blind, right? You have another 30%, and within that 30%, you have the black men who want to, they're figuring out step by step, day by day. They're taking action to become the 10% that can move away. First of all, discipline. You need semen retention to break away from black pussy. Black pussy will be the cause of your demise. It will bring you down in life and cause you to be a failure. So first of all, if you're not willing to practice semen retention, go ahead and just quit right now while you're at it, bro. Out that 30%, the other half are those pro-black simps, man. The hoteps, the reformed pookies, man, that go to prison, become Muslim. And I'm gonna be honest too. This too, bro. These reform guys, or the black men that just can't stop dealing with black women, man, these guys are always broke bums. And I'm seeing that more and more often, because some of these guys will actually deal with non-black women and give them one chance and run straight back to black women because they're poor. They're bums. Non-black women don't want broke black men, period. Am I saying that she won't build with you? Not if you're a fucking bum. Hold on, man. Let me take my jacket off. I'm getting hot. Yo, black men, all I'm saying is, you have that 10%. I'm sorry. Out that 30%, you have 15% of black men. Listen, man, they're taking the steps to realize, okay, there is more for me than just black women. And if you don't conform to the image, because again, non-black women don't want that Pookie Tyrone aesthetic, man. They really don't. What guys don't realize is it's going to hurt you in the long run. When you're 40 years old, 50 years old, and you have your gang tatted on your face, you have the block you grew up on tatted on your face, you can't get no job. You have a rap sheet as long as a 3-page essay, you can't get no job. You can't even leave the country. You're going to be stuck dealing with one demographic. You're stuck. All you can do is rap, sell drugs, or you're gonna go on YouTube and be one of these reformed Pookies, reformed Tyrones, these Muslim guys, man. Hold on. Let me say this too, man. Those guys who go to jail, become Muslim, and he come home, now he's trying to preach. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm not saying being Muslim is wrong, because I've been thinking about converting myself, but for those guys who go and do these long bids in prison, and he comes home and he wants to preach to you guys, man, listen, you're above him. Automatically, you're above him. You don't have to ruin your life in order to make better decisions. For some guys, that's what it takes. A wise man learns from other men's mistakes. So the fact that these guys treat the Muslim religion like a trash can, now you run to trying to be a better person after you jacked up your life. Man, come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. It's righteous black men out here who are either African Caribbean or African American, and these guys didn't have to go and jack up their life. put a tattoo on his face, put a tattoo on his neck. He's not taking pistols, robbing convenience stores, armed carjackings, robbing people for their coats. And they're not doing that stuff, man. But these Tyrones, man, the Pooks, they get the love from black women, man. That's why I can't stand black women, because what they deem as cool, again, what you saw Steve Urkel go from and to become a Stefan, maybe he wasn't robbing banks and stealing, all the whole degenerate bullshit. Yeah, he wasn't doing all that stuff, but he changed his behavior. Again, to make that decision, that's on a conscious level. Because when you look around and you see that, well, damn, none of the girls are checking for me, but you checking for these guys who behave this way, they dress this way, they look this way. I'm telling you, man, black men, please stay strong. Stay strong, man, because I understand everything black men do, I'm telling you, is for sex, because everything black men do is for sex, bro, because again, our women dictate who will get to reproduce. As a man, I don't want to not have children, but I don't want to have to destroy myself in order to have that. Black men, it's okay, man. I'm telling you. The grass is greener on the other side. There's a reason why no other race of men are checking for black women. There's a reason why black women are at the bottom. Every single black woman is single. Every single black woman is a single mother. She is practicing the dual mating strategy, black man. If black women are not checking for you, I promise you, you do not have to be a stepdad. I'm 25 years old. There is no young man in my, well, let me not say none. Let me not say none, because I know some of these simps, man. But the majority of black men in my generation are not going to be a stepdad. We do not have to repeat the mistakes of older black men, because I know about the black men from the 90s, dude. Those same black men who were probably dating non-black women in the 90s. Listen, black women shamed them. Black women talked about them and brought them back to the plantation. That's why I always talk about the plantation, man. As a black man, listen, the ones who are in the 10%, I told you, those black men, if they are in America, they do not live in the South, man. The South is the plantation. What were you doing as the non-select average black man on the plantation, man? Hey, hold on. Shout out to Jet Black, because he always says, shout out to non-select black male power, just because they don't like it, man. Just because they don't like it, man. I want to curse, bro, but that's a fact. That's a fact, man. Just because they don't like it, man. Shout out to you, average non-select black man, bro. For real. But what were you doing on the plantation? You were sitting back watching the white man have his way with your woman, watching the buck have his way with your woman. And as the average black man, you were expected to accept scraps, to accept doggy bags. Yo, fuck that. We're not dealing with that shit, black men. Listen, get you a trade. Go to college, man. Get a degree. Get certifications. Get out here and do what you gotta do, black man. I'm telling you, you have other options. And if you don't want American options, you can go somewhere else. You can cross the Atlantic. You can cross the Pacific. You have other options, black man. Don't let black women shame you back to that plantation. All the proof we need is online. I'm going to keep making these videos, and I'm going to keep showing you guys. Listen, all they're going to do is ruin your life. Listen, you may say Tyrone is having more success, but what, sex? At the end of the day, Tyrone still gets alienated from the children. That's why I said black women, they're like Dr. Giroux. They want to create the perfect black men. They want those NBA babies. They want to send a baby to the NFL or to the NBA. And if I can't do that, Listen, at least he was raised by the real black man and he has his mind. That's why, listen, they want your mind, they want your guidance, they want your leadership installed into Tyrone's kids, and they want your resources as well. But no, no, no. Raise Tyrone by yourself. Think about this, black man. If black people are only 14% of the population in the country, but black people commit 50% of the violent crimes in the country, those are byproducts of Tyrone. Those children are Tyrone's children. These same black women who are only having sex with these thugs. Man, listen, I know so many black women. And bro, listen, it doesn't stop after the 20s. They are in their 30s still dealing with these thugs. It doesn't stop because in their minds, that's the real black man. He's masculine. That's what masculinity is in their eyes. Feminine behavior. Not being able to control your emotions. Picking up a gun and branding it as somebody. Robbing stores. Robbing other people who work hard for their belongings. Hard for their property. That's what their version is. That's what their idea is of a real black man. That's why they believe that the real black men are in prison. Listen, black men, leave them alone, man. Leave them alone, man. I'm telling you, that's why I'm saying 2050, it's done. The average black man will be so stupid by 2050 because, again, guys like myself, you're not going to be able to have a kid. Even the women who don't get pregnant early on in life, she went to college and now she's having her first kid at 32 years old. Who do you think she was messing with all the way up until she was 32 years old? Thugs. Don't let them destroy you, black men. Listen, black men, you don't have to become NBA YoungBoy, Future, or any of these stupid ass rappers, man. Keep reading books. Keep studying, black men. Keep running after knowledge, man. Knowledge is what's gonna move our race out of poverty. Don't worry about trying to become no athlete. Don't worry about trying to become a rapper. Don't worry about trying to become a street ninja. Stay away from the tattoos. Stay away from dreadlocks. I mean, I'm not saying that dreadlocks are bad, but it just plays more into the stereotypical image of what these black women want. And now, if you do get dreadlocks, man, keep them clean. All of that free form, nasty looking stuff, man. No, bro. No. No. Take care of yourself, black man. Because I want to see my race do better, man. Honestly, I really do, man. These simps, I'm telling you, the worst kind of simp is a wise simp. To know that black women have always been against you. Even from back then, bro. How black women said after 1865 that if black men get the vote, we'll be worse than the slave master. What? When black women ran away from the black man's home in the 60s to go take crumbs, to go live on Section 8, the projects, row houses, duplex communities? Are you serious? And, I really feel bad for children who have to grow up in that kind of environment because you can't even get your life started because your mom, or even worse, your father is probably putting all that pressure on you, dude. You can't move on with your life because you got to help her pay bills. With some black children right now between 18 and 25 years old having to help their parents pay bills, all because you live on Section 8, your rent is about $700 a month, and she can't pay that. She can only work part-time, but you got to help her pay rent. She doesn't want it. First of all, she can't have a man in the house because the government gonna stop giving you guys Section 8. But even if she wanted a man, listen, she's gonna pick the worst kind of man. She's worried about how you look. She's worried about how you dress. She's worried about how you behave. And like I said, man, for the black men who have to go through that, man, I feel bad for you guys, man. But listen, yo, tell your mom, beat it. Let her live in that Section 8 by herself, man. Get out here and create something for yourself, man. Keep that for yourself. Don't pass me down your voucher. I don't want that. Black men. Like I said, man, a wise simp, those are the worst ones, man. The pro-black simps, the Hotep simps, the reform Tyrone simps, the reform Pookie simps, those Muslim simps. And I'm not talking about the religion itself, man, but it's the guys who run to that. And like I said, man, man, that 30%, man, like I said, the dumb, deaf, and blind, you could say that's the 85%, the 5% rule, you know what I'm saying? But more black men are waking up to this compared to the 5% nation, man. That's why I said you have black men out here who are dating non-black women, man, and that number is only going up. That's why I said, yo, it's 10%. The 10% of black men who, listen, they're not going back to the plantation. You can keep that. You can keep that. Those black men either live on the West Coast, up north, or out the country. And again, for the brothers who are making the steps day by day to break away, and like I said, man, the strongest way to break away, first of all, you need to be in a location where you have access to non-black women. If you live in the South, 55% of African Americans or black people in general live in the South. If there's only 40 million, 42, 43 million black people in the country, and 55% of that number live in the South, man, that's your only option down there. So like I said, man, get up out the South. Do not conform to the Tyrone image or the behavior. Work on getting some degrees, certifications, some skills. Create a business. Do what you have to do to make your money, black men. Move to a different region. Move out the country. Now you have a better life. Automatically, man. Leave black women to their own destruction. Like I said, black man, this is a psychological game right now. And again, when you're going through it as an average man, you're gonna really see how the game is not in your favor. But just be strong. Be strong. And remember, you might not bump into other black men who think like you. You might, not even might, there's pretty much a 75% chance you're going to walk this path alone. You might bump into one, maybe two guys who are also on this path. It's going to be rare, but black man, listen, even if you don't bump into these guys in the physical realm, understand there are other men out here who are promoting your same, or I'm sorry, there are other men out here who are living your same reality, man, and you are not alone. I'm one of them because I can make this content. That's why I'm talking about it, man. Anyways, black man, remain righteous. I'm out. Peace.